Hey, everybody. Here we are with Roger Desmarais from A Better Choice for Home Inspections. Roger, how are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic, Paul. It's a great day to be alive, and I trust you are as well.
Oh, yeah, man. Listen, what an awesome weekend we had. It was perfect. I enjoyed it. It was nice to see. It's late May, so it's good to see we got some nice weather, which I guess would bring out a lot of home buyers. And when home buyers come out, they need, in most cases, your services. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, so Paul, in the north especially, we're looking at about a 95% rate of inspection on home purchases. So it's very high compared to in the south being in the 50 to 60% range because of the multiple offers. People are sometimes dropping that condition and going in without it, which I think is a little foolhardy, but that's their choice. Um, we started into this, and specifically I started into this almost 11 years ago, coming out of the construction field and being asked over and over to come and inspect the roof, come and inspect this, come and inspect that. And I decided to make a career out of it, a career change, and going and offering. And at that point, I decided to create the kind of business that I'd want to do business with, a business that's built on service and a business that's on taking care of our clients. And we've been successful in doing that, and people have reacted and responded very strongly to that, coming forward and wanting to. We're made a whole bunch of promises in our society, and then we read the fine print and find out, well, not really. Like, we offer our clients lifetime technical support, and we literally mean that. I have clients calling me that I did inspections on their house 6 7 years ago. They're looking for a tradesman. They've taken on a little project. They're stuck, and it's about building relationships, which I think is the way to operate a business today. Most of us are fed up of the old, grab our money and run.
Right.
And what we want to do is we want to build that relationship, because we want them to recommend us to their friends, their family, and to tell people how fantastic we are.
Interesting. You made a statement 95% in the north and 50, 55, 60% down south.
Yes,
And
that's correct.
I understand exactly what you mean. My daughter's in Oakville. I walk the streets with my dog and I see signs over the for sale signs, and it says overpaid, over asking.
Yeah.
So I guess people are waiving their condition, which is, like you said, foolhardy to get that offer. But is that not like a massive mistake?
Well, it is, and down south they're even not often putting financing conditions. Now, that's not as risky, because the fact is there's 10 other people in line. So if
Right.
you don't buy it, somebody else is going to buy it, and the seller has no loss. But buying a home without a home inspection clause, and I mean, I strongly recommend professional certified home inspectors. But even if you do it yourself, anybody does it. Um, it's better than nothing. But at the end of the day, the buyer is going to be stuck with the condition of that house. And given the fact that there are no perfect houses, and we all have different levels of of tolerance and ability. So, for instance, a plumber buying a house with bad plumbing, it's not an issue. I did an inspection for a young lady, first time home buyer. The electrical was a nightmare. Her dad was a licensed electrician. That's not a deal breaker in that case. But had she not had a father like that, and you have a house that is unsafe to live in with the electrical, it's on their back to to fix it, to um, come up with the money to do something, or turn around and flip it, sell it, and lose money on the deal. So to me, it makes no sense. And of all the expenses in a home purchase, the home inspection is by far the cheapest of
Yeah.
all the investments that they're going to make. And you wouldn't think of doing it without an awesome realtor who's going to look after your interests. You wouldn't think of doing it without a great insurance broker, and you certainly wouldn't think of doing it without a good lawyer to make sure title and all that is done. So why would somebody not use a home inspector? And of course, in the north, the answer is that in the vast majority of cases, they are being inspected.
Right. So a home inspector, you're unbiased to the homeowner or to the buyer. You're just inspecting the home. Is this the way it is?
That's correct. So what we do is we have a process that's basically set up through an app on our phone, an electronic process. We go through the home, and then honestly, Paul, sometimes I've inspected some homes 4 or 5 times over the 10 years, and so we go through and we look for it. It's not like what you're seeing on Homes and Garden on TV and these shows, where they're tearing down walls and doing that. If that's the expectation, and that's usually where the problems come up, that's not how it's done. It's a visual, non-invasive home inspection.
Right.
So what we're looking for is those things that can be seen and that are relevant to the process. Now, sometimes, we'll bring up suspicions, and in those cases, we'll recommend, bringing people who can do more invasive work. I can't see through walls, but for instance, in the basements, finished areas, we'll take moisture readings. If there's a high reading there, we don't know what's going on necessarily, but if it's in one small location, we'll often recommend that they cut out the drywall and have a look at what's in behind there, because visually there may have been no damage yet to the drywall, but here's the moisture reading coming up. So now you got to bring somebody else in. So we don't destroy. And probably the biggest challenge we have as home inspectors is managing people's expectations of what can be gleaned through this inspection. Now, it certainly is very valuable, but it's not all exhaustive. It's not intended to catch or find every little thing that's wrong with the house. And as a matter of fact, it ignores a lot of the small, cracked baseboards, glitch kind of stuff. What we're there to look at is it's not a code compliancy inspection. The house wasn't built today, so it's not going to meet today's code. What we're looking for is any signs of deterioration or alterations from the original construction. For instance, you'll see some older homes where they retrofitted furnaces and air conditioning and they've cut out floor joists. Well, you can't have that, even though it may have been 2x8 floor joists on 24-inch centers with 16-foot spans. That's how it was built. Of course, you couldn't build it like that today, but it was built like that. Now somebody's come in and cut out some of the floor joists to run air conditioning ducting or something else.
Right.
Now, of course, that is an issue because it doesn't meet the original standard of when
Gotcha.
it was built.
So if I'm buying a home and it's already been inspected, sometimes you see that on the sign. So then I don't really require a second inspection with my guy per se.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, you're talking about a pre-inspection, and that's the core of my business. I recognize that in my second year of business, that it was a huge opportunity for all parties involved, for sellers, for buyers, for realtors. And so what we do is we go in, we'll do the inspection, and it's very, as far as what we look at, it's no different than an inspection that's purchased by a buyer. So we go in, we go through it. Where our process differs from the competition is that we will provide the seller with a report, and in that report identifying the things that are marginal and defective. If the seller decides to repair some of those items, so put his best foot forward or her best foot forward, they'll do the repairs. We'll come back at no additional charge one time, and we'll reinspect the items that they've repaired. We'll edit the report to meet the current condition of the house, and then we'll put our pre-inspection sign on there. Now, here's where, and you alluded to that about being as good as getting your own guy. Here's where the problems arise, is that report is only valid for the person to which it was written, which means in this case, the seller. There's no accountability to the buyer coming in.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And part of our program is we've created a fully transferable report. So, you see a house and it's pre-inspected that we've done, you like the house, you call me up, we'll come back with you at a very nominal fee. And what we've actually done is we've cost shared the inspection between the seller and the buyer. So I'll come back with you and we'll go through the property a second time. First of all, sometimes the pre-inspection could be done 2-3 months ago. Secondly, we're humans. It's not impossible for somebody to miss something, or let's say at one point there was a bunch of boxes piled up against the wall. Now I come back with you and those boxes are gone, and I find high moisture reading. So it gives us a second opportunity to go through that.
Gotcha.
At that point, that report is transferred into your name and it's yours. So the accountability, the liability is there. Plus, as a purchaser, you will get the lifetime technical support. And I'm proud to say, right here in North Bay, Ontario, Northern Ontario, Canada, we have North American's exclusive rewards program for our clients. So what they get is they'll get a debit type plastic card that they can go into local businesses and they will get discounts on it. And just to name a few of them, any of the Rona locations in the North Bay area, Home Building Center, Carry All Lumber, Ferris Home Hardware, Pellerin Paint, Stewart's Decorating Center, Kitchen Gallery, Floor Fashion World, Discount Car Rental, CarQuest Auto Parts, Diggers, and I'm probably missing a few more that are on our website. But our clients can go in there, forever and get discounts
That's
on
awesome.
their. Well, when you think back when we were talking about the cost of an inspection, I mean, virtually it becomes free because,
Yeah.
everybody needs paint or a window or a wheelbarrow, especially first-time home buyers. They're usually putting in, a ton more. But yeah, we have that right here in North Bay, and we're the only company in North America that has done that.
Awesome. So, we're at the end of May 2020. COVID we're not sure where. How are you guys working with that? Because you've got to go into someone's homes. What does that look like?
Okay, well, Paul, it's interesting as it unfolded, and we were trying to stay on the leading edge. And regardless of what, my personal beliefs are, we're certified by the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors, which determines how we do things. And so first thing we did, and very early on into this, we became COVID certified. So they gave us a whole series of protocols that we have to follow. And all three of us have completed that certification and go through that. And basically, the biggest challenge out of all of it has been that we can't walk through homes with our purchasers anymore. Until this is over. What they're trying to do is limit the interaction of people, plus the interaction in people's homes, like the seller having, because quite often people will want, a buyer will have, especially a younger buyer, maybe, mom and dad and the uncle there. So we could be 5, 6, 7 people at times, and they don't want that many people going through the house. Secondly, all of our tools, things that we bring in the house, are disinfected between inspections, so which greatly limits the amount of inspections we can do because it's a time-consuming process. Ourselves, now generally speaking, our hands are disinfected. We use gloves going into the house, and remembering the proper use of gloves is not me put on a pair of gloves and run around all day, through town and everywhere.
Yeah.
I put on a pair of gloves when I go in. They're clean. Then when I go into the house, and when I come out, those gloves, don't go to another house.
Gotcha.
That's it there, and that process. We report what our clients. One of the problems is with a mask, it's hard to communicate. So if a client does want to meet, we'll meet in the driveway, 6 feet apart.
Gotcha.
And discuss it. But most of the clients, what they're choosing to do is, because our report is electronic and full color photos, they're choosing to have us send them the report. And then we go through it on the phone where they're looking at the photos and they can actually see something that's a defective item or whatever. So I jokingly say we'll work twice as hard for half the money, but you do what you need to do to honor people and to keep people safe and just to follow the protocol. Not everything, even in the course of an inspection, do I agree with. I fought for years over the fact they wanted us to mark plugs within 5 feet of a sink as defective if they weren't ground fault protected, when defective means it must be repaired immediately. And our legislation in Ontario said it doesn't have to be. And I fought with them for almost 10 years before they finally allowed us to market as Marginal, right? So I don't have to agree with it. I just, I have to,
Yeah, I understand.
follow the guidelines and trust in the process, which I do.
That's awesome. Roger, listen, thank you so much for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. I think anybody buying or selling a home needs that inspection. To me, it's a no-brainer. And like you said, Northern Ontario is at about 95%. So that's excellent.
Yeah.
I know you guys bring incredible value to those homeowners and a lot of peace of mind, because that's a big part of it. If I'm buying a home,
Absolutely.
I want to see the inspection, right? Yeah, no home is perfect. So we're going to see some stuff, but I need to know the big things are okay, right?
Exactly.
So thank you so much for coming on. And again, tough times don't last. Tough people do. You've been around a while, been in the construction industry. You're a tough cookie. So we'll see you on the other side of COVID.
Thanks, Paul. You have a fantastic day.
All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.